He was a towering myth in human form. André the Giant, standing 7 feet 4 inches in and weighing over 520 pounds, was more than a wrestling icon. Oh my goodness! Where did you go? He was a living legend known for downing 7,000 calories worth of alcohol in a single night and refusing medical help for fear it would end his career. André lived on his own terms, but when he died in 1993, the world turned its gaze to his mysterious daughter, Robin Christensen Rousimov. I saw him behind the ring. I didn't watch the matches. I saw him backstage. He was truly the gentle giant. Could she carry his colossal legacy? Or was she even bigger than the giant himself? The truth might just shock you. The man behind size, André the Giant, was not just a towering figure in professional wrestling. His life was a result of a rare medical condition, early physical hardship, and a decision to pursue something far beyond his rural beginnings. Born André René Rousimov on May 19, 1946 in Grenoble, France, he entered the world already weighing 13 pounds, far above average. Though both his parents were of ordinary height, his mother stood 5 feet 2 inches in and his father 6 feet 2 inches. André began growing rapidly from a young age. By the time he was 12 years old, André stood at 6 feet 3 inches in. At 17, he had grown to 6 feet 7 inches and ultimately reached over 7 foot tall, weighing more than 500 pounds. This extreme growth was the result of a rare condition called acromegaly caused by excessive production of human growth hormone. The condition leads to continuous growth of bones and tissues and often results in gigantism when it begins in childhood. Despite the effects of this disorder, André initially led a fairly normal childhood and showed no obvious health concerns besides his height. He started school at age 6 and performed well, especially in mathematics. He also excelled in sports, particularly soccer. His massive size gave him a natural advantage and he often played goalkeeper. At 10 years old, he was already 6 foot tall, making it nearly impossible for anyone to score against him. However, André's education was cut short, not due to poor performance, but because his father needed help on the farm. At the age of 14, which was legally permissible under France's educational laws at the time, André left school and began working full-time on the farm. André's strength allowed him to complete the work of several laborers, but he soon realized his size and power were not being used to their full potential. Farming was not what he envisioned for his future. Although he respected the work, he grew restless and began seeking other paths. That's when he discovered professional wrestling, a field where his enormous size would not just be useful, but celebrated. André quickly became a sensation. In the 1970s, he gained worldwide attention. Crowds were drawn to see the man dubbed the eighth wonder of the world. Children watched him with awe, and adults were amazed at his strength and agility for someone of his stature. His fame soared in the 1980s after joining the World Wrestling Federation, now WWE, where he became a global icon. Life beyond the ring. At 18, André Rousimov moved to Paris, where his exceptional size immediately caught attention. He was discovered by local wrestling promoter Robert Legayet, who saw commercial potential in his towering frame. While training at night to become a professional wrestler, Rousimov supported himself working as a mover during the day. Initially, he wrestled under the name Cien Fear, inspired by a legendary Picardian figure later changed to Jean Fear. In 1966, Canadian wrestler and promoter Frank Valwis encountered Rousimov and would later become his advisor and business manager. Rousimov's early wrestling career began in France, and he made his televised debut against Le Petit Prince on national television. His appearances, particularly during the 1970s and 1980s, drew massive audiences worldwide. His fame crossed over into mainstream entertainment, landing him roles in films and television. But behind the fame was a rare and poorly understood medical condition. As early as age 14, André experienced an abnormal growth spurt. Doctors wouldn't identify the cause until much later, acromegaly. By 15, he stood well over 6 foot tall. His growth never slowed. His hands, feet, and head enlarged significantly. He wore size 22 shoes, and everyday objects appeared tiny in his grip. This was not simply about looking different. His size created real-world limitations. Nearly everything in modern life is designed for average-sized people, and André didn't fit into this mold, literally or figuratively. Basic tasks were difficult. Using a rotary phone meant he had to dial with a pencil as his fingers were too large for the holes. Airplane travel, essential for his wrestling career, was another challenge. He wrestled nearly 300 days a year, yet airplane lavatories were unusable for him. He had to use a bucket to relieve himself. Regular cars caused discomfort as he rode for hundreds of miles with cramped legs and neck pain. More critically, he wasn't even aware of his condition during his formative years. It's believed he was first diagnosed in Japan in 1917, but it wasn't officially confirmed until 1981 after he sought treatment for a broken ankle. By then, treatments existed to manage acromegaly, though not to reverse its effects. Rousimov's story is not just about fame or spectacle, but a life shaped by a rare medical condition that remained hidden for years. Wrestling's gentle giant. André the Giant's entry into professional wrestling was driven by his extreme physical dimensions. Weighing 540 pounds, his size gave him a distinct advantage in the ring. His hands alone were about twice the size of an average adult's, which made basic tasks difficult for others seem effortless for him. Despite this, André qualified fairly under the rules of heavyweight wrestling and quickly became a national sensation. He remained undefeated for years, not just due to skill, but because it was nearly impossible to injure him. In some matches, it took 2 or even 3 opponents at once to provide any real challenge. His popularity soared during the 1970s and 1980s, making him one of the most recognizable faces in the wrestling industry. This leads to abnormal growth of bones and tissues, especially in the hands, feet, face, and internal organs. Common signs include enlarged jaws and foreheads, and the condition is often accompanied by chronic pain, mobility issues, and a shortened life expectancy, often around 40 to 45 years. Despite his condition, André continued to wrestle for years. He avoided intense workouts because his size alone provided a major edge. Outside the ring, he was known for drinking massive quantities of alcohol, reportedly consuming over 100 beers in one sitting. But behind the public image of a spectacle, André often expressed a desire to live a normal life. In his own words, "It's not my fault being the biggest and the strongest. I don't even exercise." As the years went on, André began to experience severe physical deterioration. His joints, especially his back and knees, could no longer support his weight. He eventually required knee surgery to continue wrestling. Even after surgery, pain and instability increased. Yet, he kept performing to entertain his fans. By 1992, his condition had worsened to the point where he could no longer continue. He officially retired that year. In the 1980s, André reached peak fame, earning millions and becoming a crossover star. His most notable acting role came in the cult classic The Princess Bride, where his size and gentle demeanor left a lasting impression on audiences worldwide. Though his life was cut short by acromegaly, André the Giant remains one of the most iconic figures in wrestling and pop culture history. Wrestling's defining moment. On March 29, 1989, over 93,000 fans packed the Pontiac Silverdome in Michigan to witness what would become one of the most iconic moments in professional wrestling history. Hulk Hogan versus André the Giant at WrestleMania 3. The event was built on months of tension, hype, and anticipation. André the Giant, previously an ally of Hogan, turned against him, setting the stage for a long-awaited clash. The visual contrast between the two men was striking. André was estimated to weigh over 540 pounds and stood at about 7 feet 4 inches in tall, suffering from acromegaly. Hogan, by comparison, was 6 feet 7 inches in tall and around 300 pounds. The sheer physical presence of André made him a spectacle, but it also came with consequences. In public, André often felt alienated. He was regularly stared at, photographed without consent, and approached by people who seemed more interested in his size than in who he was. In interviews, André expressed frustration that people tried to use him for his fame or notoriety, not forming genuine personal connections. There were also many reports about André's physical capabilities, including his well-documented tolerance for alcohol. Various wrestlers and close acquaintances have shared stories about André consuming up to 100 beers or 20 bottles of wine in one sitting. These accounts have never been definitively verified, but they remain part of his larger-than-life legacy. Back in the ring, the match itself began with tension and uncertainty. Hogan tried to lift Andre early in the bout, but failed. As the match progressed, Hogan hulked up, a routine in which he appeared to feed off the crowd's energy. With one final burst of strength, Hogan lifted Andre for a body slam, something few thought possible, and executed his signature leg drop for the pinfall. The crowd reaction was immediate and overwhelming. The moment Hogan lifted Andre became an instant piece of wrestling history. Not only was it a physical feat, but it also marked the symbolic passing of the torch in professional wrestling. WrestleMania 3 elevated both men's legacies and cemented their place in pop culture. André the Giant died 10 years later in 1993 at the age of 46 while in France. His health had deteriorated due to complications from acromegaly, but his impact on the wrestling world remains unmatched. Daughter of the Giant. Robin Christensen Rousemoff was born in 1979 as the daughter of legendary wrestler André the Giant. Her mother, John Christensen, met André in the early 1970s while working for WWE. Although their relationship was brief and not serious, it led to a lengthy legal struggle on Jean's part to ensure that André contributed financially to raising their child. For much of her early life, Robin had only met André a few times. The two never developed a strong bond, partly due to André's constant travel schedule as a professional wrestler and the strained relationship between him and Jean. Jean later appeared with Robin on the television program A Current Affair, where she described her initial encounter with André and the difficulties that followed. At the time of Jean's pregnancy, André reportedly believed he was physically incapable of having children. He initially questioned whether Robin was his daughter. However, a court-ordered blood test in 1981 confirmed his paternity. As a result, the court ordered André to pay child support between $750 and $1,000 per month. Zhang claimed that it wasn't André himself who resisted payment, but rather his management team, who controlled much of his finances and discouraged personal involvement. André's demanding travel schedule, combined with ongoing tension with Jean, further complicated his attempts to have a relationship with Robin. According to The Eighth Wonder of the World by Bertrand Heber and Pat Larad, phone conversations between André and Robin often turned into arguments between André and Zhang. He wanted to spend time with his daughter but not with her mother. However, Robin, understandably cautious as a child, did not want to visit her father alone. At the same time, both Jean and André agreed that Robin should not be immersed in the wrestling world. As André's only child and legal heir, Robin unexpectedly found herself in a high-profile position following his death. She inherited part of his estate along with exclusive rights to his name and likeness. This gave her control over how his legacy would be preserved and commercialized. Major wrestling companies, toy brands, and video game developers approached Robin for licensing deals involving André's image. She became the de facto guardian of her father's public legacy. Despite public pressure and widespread media interest, Robin never pursued a wrestling career. Instead, she focused on protecting her father's memory, carefully evaluating which projects truly honored who André the Giant was. André the Giant's relationship with his daughter. André the Giant was a man larger than life, literally and metaphorically. But behind the towering fame and global wrestling stardom was a personal life riddled with distance, silence, and emotional disconnect, especially when it came to his only daughter, Robin Christensen Rousemoff. Their relationship was marked by absence more than presence. Due to André's relentless travel schedule with the WWF, now WWE, he spent over 300 days a year on the road. That left very little time, even during off days, for meaningful connections. According to Robin, phone calls were infrequent and in-person meetings were rare and often awkward. Most of their encounters took place in courtrooms over child support issues rather than over dinners or birthdays. But the emotional gap was perhaps greater than the physical one. To the world, André wasn't just a man. He was the eighth wonder of the world. That iconic status became a barrier to building a simple, grounded relationship. Those close to him admitted he cared deeply for Robin, but struggled with the emotional tools needed to be a father. His fame made him feel more like a myth than a man detached from ordinary life, even within his own family. Robin's mother, Jean Christensen, also played a pivotal role in shaping their limited contact. After Robin's birth, John moved to the United States and raised her daughter privately, shielding her from the chaos of wrestling fame. John believed that keeping Robin away from the spotlight would give her a chance at a normal childhood. But that decision also added to the emotional and geographical distance from André. Still, there's evidence that André didn't abandon his responsibilities. He paid child support and made sure Robin had ways to reach him. He never tried to exclude us. Robin once said, "We always had a phone number to contact him." While his actions may have fallen short of full fatherhood, they show he made attempts, however limited, to stay involved. The tragedy of their story isn't just the lack of a bond, but the quiet attempts at connection that never fully blossomed. By the time they might have reconciled, André's health was in rapid decline due to acromegaly, the condition that caused his extraordinary size. Truth about his daughter. Robin Christensen Rousimov is the only confirmed child of legendary wrestler André the Giant, whose real name was André René Rousimov. While Robin stands at approximately 6 feet tall and weighs around 220 pounds, she is far from reaching the size of her father. André, known for his staggering physical presence, measured 7 feet 4 inches in height and weighed approximately 520 pounds during his wrestling prime. His extraordinary size wasn't simply genetic. It was a result of acromegaly. The same condition also contributed to his health issues and early death at age 46 in 1993. Despite frequent online claims suggesting Robin somehow outgrew her father, the facts do not support that. Robin herself has addressed these rumors, clarifying that while she shares facial features with André, she does not possess his size or superhuman strength. Some fans expressed initial disappointment that André's daughter did not inherit his size, but many others recognize that influence is not measured solely by physical dimensions. Robin was about 5 or 6 years old when André became a household name in professional wrestling. Due to his grueling travel schedule and performance obligations, their time together was limited. She did not attend his matches and mostly saw him backstage or during quick visits. This distance was not due to personal neglect, but rather the reality of his global wrestling career. After André's death, Robin chose to engage with his fan base and legacy in meaningful ways. She began appearing at wrestling conventions, signing autographs, and interacting with fans who still viewed André as a childhood hero. Through their stories, Robin gained new perspectives on her father's impact, which helped ease some of her own grief. She also took part in special events, including screenings of The Princess Bride, a film in which André played Fezzik. Robin felt the movie allowed audiences to witness a more accurate portrayal of her father's gentle nature, something rarely seen in his wrestling persona. Though comedic and fictional, the role captured the warmth and kindness André displayed in real life. Robin has acted as a consultant on documentaries and biographical projects that aim to preserve and accurately represent André's story. While she keeps a low public profile, her efforts have contributed to maintaining the integrity of her father's memory. There is no evidence that André had any children besides Robin. Despite their limited time together, Robin continues to be a central figure in honoring his legacy. Her quiet dedication ensures that the truth behind the man known as André the Giant remains respected and remembered. Music: The Untold Legacy of André the Giant's Daughter. Robin Christensen Rousimov, the only child of the legendary wrestler André the Giant, has stepped into a unique role, not as a wrestler or entertainer, but as a guardian of a powerful legacy. While she may not physically tower over others like her father did, her impact in preserving his memory often feels even larger. Her connection to André isn't just genetic. It's emotional, cultural, and historical. Robin has taken deliberate steps to keep her father's story alive, not through spectacle, but through meaningful action. One of her most significant contributions is the establishment of the André the Giant Memorial Scholarship Fund. This initiative supports young talents in the performing arts, a tribute to the entertainment world that made André a global icon. Rather than chasing fame, Robin chooses to invest in the dreams of others, just like her father once followed his own. She also plays a key role in managing her father's estate. This includes overseeing film and book projects related to his life, such as contributing to documentaries and scripted features that explore the man behind the myth. Her involvement ensures that Andre's story is told with honesty and respect based on facts, not just fan fantasy. Robin occasionally appears at wrestling conventions and events. These aren't publicity stunts. They're carefully chosen opportunities where she can engage with fans who want to learn more about the real Andre, the gentle giant behind the massive figure. For many fans, meeting Robin is the closest they can come to understanding the emotional truth of his life. Despite having spent limited time with her father due to his intense schedule and complex personal life, Robin's dedication to his memory is unwavering. Her efforts aren't just for the public. They're deeply personal. She has embraced the responsibility of being the bridge between Andre's towering public image and the quiet private man she knew. Her story goes beyond being a celebrity's daughter. It's about identity, resilience, and legacy. Robin carries her father's story forward, not with bravado, but with purpose. She ensures that future generations see Andre not only as a wrestling legend or movie star, but as a human being who faced pain, isolation, and complexity. We hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more amazing stories.